the dream of Microsoft Dynamics effectively is that you have one single customer record, and that customer record would show you everything that you need to know about this customer and all of the different interactions that they're having with various different parts of the business. So we've got our customer here. This is Adatum, and this one single view can show me everything from, who works there. So these are all of our people. All of the communications. So Dynamics integrates really nicely with your Outlook for emails. You can have tasks, phone calls, etc. Obviously, you've got Copilot, wouldn't be a Microsoft demo without it. But as you can see across the top here, you've got all of the different tabs that show us what the different departments are doing. So for example, here, I can see what all of the salespeople are doing with this account. So I can see all of the different opportunities that we're trying to sell. I can see all of the customer service cases. So I can see, any issues, any inquiries, any challenges that they've made potentially of what we've been sold. I can look at any projects that might be ongoing at the moment. So I can see, start date, end date, what's our estimate versus actuals. And I can also see any jobs or work orders. So this is where we've had to send people out to effectively maintain something that we've delivered as part of our service. And of course, we've also got invoice records as well. So this is the financial side in terms of the physical money that we're collecting or that we're charging. So this single view is, as I said, geared that if you had all of the different modules turned on, this is where you can get to that one single place to know everything there is to know about Adatum. Okay, so let's dive into how that looks around the different departments. So firstly, we're going to kick off with marketing. Okay. So the customer insights tool is a module that lives inside, and there are an absolute ton of different features from within here, many more than I could show you in a 5-minute snippet. But this is your typical marketing automation tool, email marketing, social media, managing email communications and so on and so forth. And some of the highlight features are this piece here, which is the customer journeys. Now, a lot of clients we work with really love this part because you can build out as many of these as you like. They are automated touchpoint journeys. And the real value of having that part of your CRM platform is that you can then trigger these on the back of any sort of behavior. So it can be things like, have we sent an email? Have they opened it? Have they clicked on it? But it could be, have they previously bought one of our products? Have they potentially just joined as a new member? Has one of their projects just ended? You've got all these different triggers across the different departments that can effectively kickstart these communication journeys. Okay, so these are really simple builder, drag and drop. You can add in new triggers and so on and so forth, and have as many of these on the go as you wish. You also then get a ton of analytics. So as your different people, your different contacts go through the journeys, you can see how many have reached a different stage, how many have branched out to the left, how many have branched out to the right, and again, what's our delivery funnel? So how many emails have been sent, opens, and so on. So, for a marketeer, this is the dream, right? You've got analytics at your fingertips, you've got profile at your fingertips, and you can pretty much kickstart any sort of campaign on the back of anything that your contacts are doing within the database, what they're buying, how they're being serviced, how we want to interact with them better. It's a great question. So, but the Customer Insights tool has its own bulk email server. So it's the same as things like MailChimp or HubSpot or any of these kind of tools. It is a native marketing automation suite that has its own bulk email sender. It doesn't work off your Exchange, so you won't be getting blacklisted. Yeah, works in exactly the same way in Customer Insights. So you have a web visits piece of functionality where, as you say, as soon as you become a known IP or a known domain, you can effectively follow that customer on what they're doing. So these kind of journeys can then be triggered off, did they visit a particular web page or various different things. So as the marketing team are working away, building up prospects or reinforcing that message, the salespeople are working on opportunities. So this is the core CRM module, which is called Dynamic Sales. This is the most popular, if you like. It's the most common. Pretty much every business will have a need for some sort of sales function. And the pipeline and opportunity management can give us, a ton of things. We can do clever stuff like sequences, which allows us to put in step-by-step sales processes with pre-built content, follow-ups and so on and so forth. We can do things like opportunity scoring. So, what might be a good lead for us, what might not, how do we potentially score that? And we can actually configure the parameters from within here as well. And again, I'm a salesperson, so I can knock them. They're not fantastic at following up. So you've got things like, opportunity tasks, and you've got follow-ups to do pretty much all over the place. So that's your core opportunity record, where you perhaps be storing, when is this going to close? What's the probability, and how much might it be worth? So once you have set an email to track, as it were, every subsequent email as part of that thread will track. You can also set every email to track, but then you end up with all your Deliveroo and your, order receipts and things like that. Yeah, so it's the integration is with the Exchange server, so it's a server-side sync. So you've got your pipeline. A typical sales manager might want to see things like reporting. So again, you can utilize Copilot to do this. There's an absolutely ton of out-of-the-box sales-based reports, things like deal trackers, sales funnels, summarizations, and so on and so forth. But again, all of these are tweakable, so you can play around with the views, you can play around with the summaries, you can have different pipeline views and so on. So full sales management CRM inside of the solution. So once you sell something, then perhaps you're ready to deliver it. So again, Dynamics has a project service or project operations module, which effectively is then project management. So we can move our data along from an opportunity. Once that opportunity has been closed, we can move it into a project. And again, you're presented with a slightly different layout, but looks very familiar. So you've got things like your business process bars that run along the top, which again, you can play around with and have multiple different stages or different words or whatever you can do as part of that configuration. And Project Service also integrates really nicely with Microsoft Project. So from here, you can see that all of your project tasks are built using Microsoft Project. So you've got that familiarity, and that gives you the ability to build out your Gantt charts, your timelines, and your dependencies, and so on and so forth. So let's say you've got your project, you've gone live, you've now got an up and running customer. So how do we potentially service that customer? So one of the great things about Dynamics is that you can enable what's called omnichannel, or now contact center. It's been recently rebranded, and that gives you the ability to open up an external portal for customers. And this can be based on, just portal access, knowledge base, raising cases, various different things. But we can extend those channels to give information through live chat. So live chat can either be automated, it can be using virtual agent, or again, it can also be linking directly with your service agents inside the business as well. So the example we've got here is a portal. You can obviously brand it up, put your own information on there. You can create a case, you can do a live chat, you can have a look through the knowledge base. And perhaps if you've kind of got through the initial virtual agents and you haven't quite got to where you want, even though it's taken some guidance and AI-based responses, I then might actually want to speak to an agent. So that can dial directly into Dynamics. I can then accept that as a service agent, as it were, and then that will move me into the next stage, which is customer service management. So how we can actually manage that from inside Microsoft Dynamics. So this is what a typical agent might see. They might see again that timeline here of all the previous live chats or all the previous emails that have been used from within here. Over on the left-hand side, this is your direct live chat and direct agent. So I have the ability to type a message. I can ask Copilot to help me. I've got different scripts and pre-built responses and things like that. So this is giving me that direct view of who the case is, who it's for, any sort of details and SLAs that I need to be aware of. And I've then effectively got a full case management suite inside of the solution as well. So this timeline here is typically the timeline is per record. So you might have communications that are relative particularly to this case or this project, as an example. And then what they do is they roll up to the parent account. So if you had 10 different cases with a customer, you'd have individual comms for each of those cases. But then when those cases are closed, you could go to the account record, which is the company, and that would have all of those comms rolled up. So you'd have that history in one place for you. You've also got a full knowledge management piece from within here. So you can create as many knowledge-based articles as you want. Those can be internal, so therefore helpful for the agents, or they can also be published out to the portal. So similar to what we showed, you can have a knowledge base up here, which gives you that self-service effectively, which we'd all like our customers to do more of. We have a number of clients who just have an in-house service desk, if you like. So they're people that are working at their desk. But we also have a number of clients who are utilizing field-based resources. So what that would entail is where you've got a case, that case for whatever reason can't be managed or resolved by the in-office team, as it were. So that then needs to be extended out into the field service module of Dynamics. So I'll show you kind of what that looks like here. So this is where you'd extend, you perhaps convert a case into a record in Dynamics, which is called a work order. Most of our clients call them jobs, to be honest, but again, you can call it whatever you wish. And this gives you the ability to build in many different things like, products and services and, risk assessments and inspection templates. And there's, absolutely a ton of stuff from within here. You can assign resources, you can build out, different costs in terms of how much it costs, how much labor, do we work with contractors and so on and so forth. And this is where as well, you can utilize the asset management piece. So assets can be used on customer service. They can also be used on field service. So some of our IT-based clients are using this for, the laptops and the hardware that they service. But perhaps our field service clients are using it for pieces of machinery where their resources actually have to go out and service those. And when you're working in field service or project, you also get access to this, which is the schedule board. So this is a great way for project managers or for resource managers to have a visibility of who their resources are, what jobs or what project tasks that they're doing at any given time. And this is also an interactive piece. So I can literally pick this up and move this around. I can also see at the bottom any open work orders or open project tasks that I might need to schedule. So again, I can pick those up, I can move them from within here. Again, it gives me some priorities and things like that. But the system will also look to skills match for me. So behind each of these resources, I have a full understanding and tracking of what skills they have, what proficiency levels and so on and so forth. And I can also filter by this as well in terms of the characteristics, territories, and so on. And if I really want to get understanding of where my people are, there is also a map view as well. And I can enable my resources to be geolocated. So that means as they move around, I can have an understanding of where they are, what their live travel time is and so on and so forth. They just need to have that enabled as part of the mobile app. So we've talked through the sort of sales process, we've talked through delivering a project, we've talked through then servicing that client, and then ultimately if we need to send people out to service. And then the final piece of the puzzle, if you like, is for Business Central. Now, when I show you Business Central, you will initially probably think, it's a slightly different interface. That's absolutely right. So everything I've shown you so far lives within the same interface. Business Central is the finance module that is underpinned still by the Dataverse. So all of the data is connected. However, it is a slightly different interface. And the reason for that is that Business Central came from an older product called Nav or Navision, which you guys have probably come across or heard of, whereas CRM is actually the Dynamics CRM piece. So they have come from slightly different beginnings, but they are now nicely connected underneath with the Dataverse. So what you can do, within your finance tool, this is your typical Sage, Xero, SAP kind of compete product, where you can see, a list of all of your invoices that have come through, either from what we've sold or when a project's been completed or when a job's been gone out and actioned. We can see all of our finance information, so our GL, our chart of accounts, our inventory and our asset management piece. And you've got reporting pretty much everywhere. So a lot of the clients that move away from slightly older ERP products or finance products is a lot of their feedback is just around the ease of actually getting to data, the ease of analysis and so on and so forth. And again, you're provided with that pretty much everywhere that you go. So how much sales have we done? How much purchase invoice value? And we can even get graphical in terms of our cash flow, our income versus our expenditure. And we've also got Power BI completely natively built into this. So those are all of the different modules within Dynamics. As you can see, it really provides that end-to-end viewpoint from lead all the way through to cash, everything rolling up against that individual customer. And also, of course, all nicely connected with Outlook, Microsoft Teams, obviously Copilot as well. So yeah, that's our Dynamics overview.